What is going on, Browns fans? Welcome to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. We are bringing you a update live after the Browns' very disappointing loss at home opener, loss to the Jets 31-30 in a spectacle of a last 2 minutes that, Jeff, I'm not going to lie to you, I wasn't even there for it. I was at the game. We picked up the first down with a Kareem Hunt screen, and I haven't been home all day, and me and my dad pieced out. We were like, this is game over. They only have one timeout. We're going to run, kneel, and that's going to be the game. Get halfway to the train station, and it turns out they not only get a touchdown, but get an onside kick. And then they go and they score another touchdown. So, and unfortunately, don't have the game recorded. So, Jeff, you're going to have to do, if you really want to get into that last 2 minutes, don't really know what happened those last 2 minutes. Apparently, a 66-yard pass was given up for that first touchdown, obviously the onside kick, and then the final touchdown. And Cade York, obviously, missing an extra point. The one thing I'm not going to do, though, and I'm on Twitter, right? I was on Twitter before. The one thing I'm not going to do is say anything negative about Nick Chubb.
Thank you. Fine. I knew this wasn't going to be an issue, but man, the app is the worst loss I've ever seen, and then I got to log on to this stupid app.
Yep.
I don't even want it anymore. It's terrible on there.
The Bird app is awful, and and I'm sure a lot of people don't blame it on Nick. And also, like, the idea that Nick has to do that is just ludicrous.
If you want to blame it on Nick, first, don't. And two, I need a receipt that you said in the moment when he scored that he should have went down. Right. If you tweeted out right when he ran into the end zone, Nick Chubb should have went down, we could have kneeled it out. If you tweeted it right when it happened, this revisionist history biased nonsense where he should have went down is some of the most comical commentary on a professional sports team I have ever seen.
Yes. And with that being said, I'm just going to get right into my part of the overreaction to this game. And like I said, overreaction, but let me just get the grade for this out of the way. Coaching staff, F. Kevin Stefanski, F. Joe Woods, F. Alex Van Pelt, what do you do? F. I don't know what you do. I honestly don't know what your position on this team is. You coach the quarterback supposedly and are an offensive coordinator. Everyone gets an F.
Offense was fine, though.
F. No, it does not matter if the offense is fine, Jeff, because guess what?
But come on, though. We scored 30 points with Brissett, and you can't blame the offense. I'm not blaming the offense. Not saying anything about the offense. I'm saying the coaching. Alex Van Pelt, I don't care. Whatever. He doesn't do anything. I don't know with Brissett, though.
I don't care. Here's the problem with Brissett. He is the perfect Kevin Stefanski quarterback because he does barely enough to get you by in games.
He was great today, though.
Guess what? Kevin Stefanski, you are the head coach, not the offensive coordinator. You want to be the offensive coordinator? Go back to Minnesota. Go ruin Justin Jefferson's stats. Get him to leave Minnesota, just like you got Stephon Diggs to leave. I'm not here for it. I'll go out and do exactly what the Browns did this offseason with the quarterback position and do it with the head coach. Fire Stefanski and go get fucking Brian Flores from Pittsburgh.
I mean, are we mad about this, though? We can't be mad about the stat line.
What was his biggest air yard completion?
Well, I don't want to get into that because we haven't had air yard completions probably 20,
and we were bitching about it last season. We were bitching about it last season.
But I'm bitching about it last season because we had a first overall draft pick who was a Heisman winner. Brissett is a journeyman backup. And expectations.
I had people on Twitter all throughout the offseason comparing the two, saying Jacoby was better. And here we are.
Jacoby through 2 weeks is playing better than Baker Mayfield. Correct.
And we're 1-1.
That's fine.
Where were we last year? 1-1.
Perfect. You knew that we were going to balls this game up. If you didn't have that in the back of your mind
at the 2 minute
well, not like that. Not in criminal history like that.
That's the point. You cannot lose those games. Absolutely. You look like a fool. How does Robert Saleh, who the same year we go out in the coaching search, we go and interview Robert Saleh, who absolutely annihilates Minnesota's offense, Kevin Stefanski, and pick Kevin Stefanski over Robert Saleh.
Okay,
because now if you switch those head coaches, I'm not getting into this. Robert Saleh win.
I'm not getting into this because Robert Saleh does nothing to win this game besides a couple.
Besides outcoach us.
No, he does not. He does not outcoach Stefanski.
So what happened then?
He doesn't outcoach
the onside kick, not be able to go score a touchdown.
Okay, but is he special team? Is he the special teams coach?
He is the head coach. He oversees everything. If you take a win or a loss, it is not Kevin Stefanski or
who's coach of the year. Who's got a coach of the year? Who's got a playoff win? But I'm just saying,
Mike Prefer win the game last week? Does he get to be considered the winner of last week as the coach?
Sure, if he's coaching Cade York, sure.
That's not how it works.
But how? How is it not? What? Who do you think, Stefanski, or do you think who's running the hands team out there, Stefanski or Prefer? I don't know why. I don't know why Amari Cooper isn't diving for the ball. But here's the thing. There's two plays. It depends. It all depends.
It shouldn't come down to two plays, though.
If Saleh, well, you know how football is. It comes down to actually a whole lot of BS because there's two plays that annoy me the whole game, and I'm not even getting into blown coverages or nothing like that. Let's start with all the nonsense where if you want to say we're outcoached. We give up a fake punt for a first down. That drive should have been over. They scored on that drive.
Yep.
Okay, the Jets are desperate. Sure, they're in a rebuilding phase. That's fine. I knew they were going to come out with this desperation. I'm shocked they didn't try it on the first punt, truthfully. But they held it for the second punt, whatever. Their kicker comes out and kicks a dime onside kick. It stays in bounds. I don't know how you could be like, this is Kevin Stefanski's fault.
I'm not saying the onside kick. I'm saying the entire game. What you just said that they are in a rebuilding phase and we lost to them. And are we just going to be like, you said Jacoby played great. So what happened? The defense sucked. But guess what? You are the head coach of the team, top to bottom.
Okay, so here's what I'll give you. If Joe Woods is on the coaching staff tomorrow, I'll start bitching at Stefanski. Fire his ass. Fire him. And I came on here and told you Joe Woods was a sucker last week, and I got shit for it, multiple angles. So his ass, which was fine. I think I maybe gave Joe Woods a little bit too much flack last week. But what I said last week reigns true this week. How are you on the third year of coaching these guys and they don't even act like they know who they are? I'm watching top-down NFL next-gen stats, and 22 and 21 both have their heads up their asses on a 68-yard play. And I get it. Joe Flacco's 18-3 all time against the Browns, owns the Browns. That's what I was worried about. I'd rather have played Zach Wilson. I told you that in the preseason. I don't want to play Joe Flacco, who's beaten us up and down the boulevard his whole career. But I don't know how you could say, okay, we have a Cade York missed extra point. That makes it 30 points. Then you have a 68-yard total miscommunication, which we saw last week. We saw all last year, blown coverages. Then we have an onside kick. None of this is on the offense. So I get your top-down head coach, but it's like we don't even want him calling offensive plays. How is he supposed to call offensive plays, make sure Prefer has his shit together, make sure Joe Woods has his shit together?
But that's why you delegate. That's my issue with it. That's my issue with him calling the offense plays. If we are in the third year of the system for offense and defense,
he's not giving that up though. He's power hungry.
And if he's not going to, guess what? There's no allegiance between Andrew Berry and him, just like there wasn't with John Dorsey and other coaches.
I concur.
And what's to stop us from doing the same exact thing that we did with the quarterback position and going and looking for? Because granted, I will say, Kevin Stefanski is a good coach at times, just like Baker Mayfield was a good quarterback.
He coached good enough to win today. I just don't we had a 99% chance to win. I don't understand how 99 times out of 100. I can't account for this other one time where we can't get on an onside. How many
times have we fucked up a here's my thing, Jeff. I asked this question and I don't know how to look it up. How many times have we lost an onside kick?
I don't know.
I think it's too many. At least
one is too many. I don't. Yes. That's what I'm saying though. Prefer though the onside.
Didn't we give one up to the Steelers at some point? I'm
sure we gave up one last year. I'm sure we gave up one last year. But the onside kick, the person who is closest to the ball is Amari Cooper, and he's like, I'm not defining it as a business decision, but it's like he didn't. I felt like he could have went for the ball and like head first, and he didn't. He didn't. I don't know. Has he ever played? Has he ever been on a hands team before in his career? I don't know. In Dallas, this is what I'm saying, but it's like obviously the most criminal loss I've ever seen in my pushing 24 years of fandom. It's like I don't understand how these things happen. The 68-yard broken play. It was just like last week. We were lucky to win last week. Everybody knows that. It was just like last week. It was one play, busted down the field. The CBS pans their wide receiver, Garrett Wilson. There's nobody even. We don't have a Browns player in the camera shot. Walks into the end zone.
Yeah. No. Again, at the same time, this team is too talented to continue to
They're not
games.
Regardless or not, though, I don't think they have the brain capacity. I don't think Grant Delpit has the brain capacity. Yeah. Just from what I've seen in 2 weeks and some of last year, he's got the talent. I just don't know if they could put it all together. If I have to hear John Johnson say, people are sending things and they're not receiving it. We all have this weird, this is what I'll give you with Stefanski. Stop tippy-toeing around the issue. Just come out and say it. If you're going to, we just have these communication issues and all this. No, just say Joe Woods doesn't have them lined up right. Grant Delpit's not the brightest freaking bulb on the tree, and then go about our life. And Myles Garrett, stop complaining about the fans booing. It's not like we walk into the stadium for free. It's not like we watch the games on TV for free. It's not like we sit here for 3 hours and spend all of our time for free. We're allowed to boo if you play trash.
And he's commenting still that everyone, including the coaches, need to point a finger at themselves. Well, yeah, I mean, you had problems with it last year. Listen, Miles, the one thing I'll give you is that, you've spoken up about the poor defense. I don't know what Stefanski's doing. I don't know what his idea of coaching is because, listen, I know nothing about high school football, but I know for a fact that if you're not a head coach or if you're a head coach and you're not going back and forth between the offense and the defense, no matter who you are, it's not a good recipe for winning football and being a cohesive team. We were having weeks where we're having great offensive play this week, and last week, for the most part, having great defensive play. Mm-hmm. So when are we going to put it together? Do we have to wait 11 weeks to get Deshaun Watson back? And I'm worried for when Deshaun Watson comes back. Are we even going to be able to utilize them to the full effect? What happened to earlier this week? Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. It's time. I didn't see a single set with them out there. What happened?
I wasn't even paying attention to that. But I mean, even that I understand, but it's not like we used them in tandem perfectly as far as bringing them in and out. And we were owning them the whole second half. We were owning them with Kareem and Nick, owning them. But it's
I will admit, though, second half, I felt like they had our number. They went into halftime, made halftime corrections, came out and
chunk play after chunk play after chunk play. They had double-digit yard gains left and right every play, back to back. And again, this is what I'm saying. If you're going to play 90% 1 week, defense, let's just say defense played 90% last week. We could agree on that. They played about 12% this week, 15% this week max. No turnovers. Joe Flacco burns you. You give up a big play. You can't do anything correct as far as getting off the field on third down. We can't get off the field on third down. It's like people snap their fingers and now we can't get off the field on third down. But correct the issues. I'm looking for no big plays this week. Wrong. Still got him. Got him at least once, and chunk plays just regardless. And I'm looking to get off the field on third down. That's it. The offense corrected their issues from last week for the most part. We didn't miss wide open receivers. We actually had some balls that were dropped that looked like last year that I'm like, what's going on here, Njoku? What are we paying you for? We're paying you to block. Your hands are better blocking than they are catching. And I get you lose Clowney, as Mike is astutely pointing out, like that
defense going to be a great thing. Hey, what did I say about earlier in the season or earlier before the preseason starts? We're going to drop these games, and you're going to drop these 11. There's 11 games. We have 9 more. You lose Clowney, and now where are you at? One injury completely offsets what this defensive line can do, because Myles Garrett was completely. What did he do all the second half, and what did he do with no Clowney?
Nothing.
If it wasn't for Clowney, we wouldn't have a turnover. Now where are we at? Who's our backup?
He chooses when he wants to be great in the moment. Like I thought this offensive line was going to get murdered all day.
Exactly.
I thought Flacco had pretty clean protection all day, and the times that he didn't have clean protection, he's veteran, makes better moves, just throws the ball away. He didn't take any stupid sacks. Of course, there's a ball on the ground. Like, that's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, how many times
and I get it. I feel like we're getting above average referee luck through 2 weeks. Believe it or not, I think that it's like at least 50-50, or we're actually getting some calls. I think Teller gets destroyed again on a hold today. I didn't think that was a hold either as far as the replay, but maybe bias. But it's like, when are we going to fall in the football? We don't get a turnover. We lose.
Our the one interception we have so far this year, is a ball thrown completely towards Grant Delpit.
Baker interception doesn't really count.
It's ludicrous. And the worst game I've seen from the linebacker coverage-wise, it was the worst game I've seen from the defense in general since the early half of last year.
Correct.
Like, quite literally, this looks exactly like the first half of last year, where your defense plays semi-decent against the Chiefs to a point, and then the next game, well, no, we played freaking Houston the next game. But Houston, Jeff made a comment last year that Houston was still able to keep up with us for the majority of that game. But
Davis Mills, I mean, we played to our competition. People have always said that. Turner's always said that. We can't stop anyone. It's because we played to our competition. I mean, we played much better last week, which I think was, I don't know, I can't even compare those offenses. But I mean, how do you stop Christian McCaffrey essentially dead in his tracks? And then it's like Joe Flacco is scrambling for first downs on you. I'm not understanding this.
Yeah. All right, let's get into some notable stats. We'll go from the Browns side to the Jets side. Starting at quarterback, Jeff's favorite quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. A solid 22 of 27, 229 yards, a touchdown and interception at the end of the game. Don't really care about the interception towards the end of the game. Should have never gotten to that point.
Nope, don't really care.
Nick Chubb not getting 20 touches and not getting 100 yards. Of course, we lose the game.
Of course, we lose. Typical.
3 touchdowns, doesn't matter. Kareem Hunt, 13 touches, 58 yards. That's good. Jacoby actually looked like he could, move his feet
better today. He must have stretched this week.
Amari just completely wide open on every possession. It looked like. I don't know how he wasn't open last week, but
Joe Flacco owns us. I mean, that's simple.
Yeah, that's ludicrous. It was looking like a Harrison Bryant day to me. 3 receptions for 45 yards. Pushed. I know he pushed Brissett the one play on the 3rd and 1 or whatever it was over the line. I thought it was pretty funny. And then I don't even want to go over to the defense because I don't really care.
Nope.
Blown defense all over the place, and it is what it is. Hey, Jerome Ford looked good in the kick return game, though. I will say that.
Get Demetric Felton never again. I don't want to see it ever. I don't want to see it. He's lost it. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, and I'm not the huge reactionary type. If we don't trade Dearness, he might be a casualty, practice squad, whatever. Not worth it. It's not worth it to roster these guys and play these guys. And it's like, if it's a chain of command issue and Barry's in people's ears, that's got to quit immediately. Grow up, figure it out, admit when you might have missed on a draft pick, and don't play him. Play best available player. Grant Delpit, he don't got anything up here. He don't got nothing. I don't know if.
But is that an Andrew Berry thing or is that a Kevin Stefanski thing? I don't even know because
if he don't have the football IQ, that's an Andrew Berry thing. What is Stefanski going to do? Teach him how to play the secondary all week during game week? We got 3 days of practice, 2 days of practice. What is? That's
why my question. Why isn't he top to bottom making decisions on the roster when it's just like, all right, it seems like he has control of the offense and that's it. And then we just.
But do you want him to delegate or do you want him to do everything?
Yes, I want him to delegate. You delegate so you can do everything. That's the point of being a head coach. Robert Saleh, he's over there calling offensive plays. He's a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, their offense was lucky they were playing us.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Is Robert Saleh inspiring the fear of God into other defenses? Like, I don't think so. Would you at the end of the day, coin toss, I'd rather have an offensive-minded coach. They're all the best coaches in the league outside of perhaps Bill Belichick. Even if you want to throw you a bone and put Zach Taylor in there, offensive-minded head coach. The Rams head coach McVay, offensive-minded, genius. Andy Reid, offensive-minded, genius. What's his face over in Green Bay? Another guy.
But he's
like
delegated. He's even delegated the offense to Bieniemy. Bieniemy actually calls plays.
Well, we know Bieniemy could be a head coach. He just has skeletons in his closet.
Yeah, I agree. But that's why I don't throw it out there right now, or like it's not actually going to be a thing of like firing Kevin Stefanski, but I don't see why you wouldn't go and look into guys like Brian Flores, who
he's not getting fired this year. Stefanski has
not.
Another season with the Browns. There's zero chance he's getting fired. Joe Woods, on the other hand, could be a casualty. He might be a casualty tomorrow.
He could very easily be a casualty tomorrow.
But it's like you're out 11 games, and I knew they were going to do this. People asking me all week, the Browns.
He should have been a casualty when Brian Flores was a casualty, and then you bring Brian Flores. You do exactly what the Steelers did. But the Steelers are a more competent organization.
Correct. I wonder if they explored that, but it's like all week, and you don't write it up like this. I just thought we were going to lose, not like this. I didn't think we were going to lose, but I thought if we were going to lose, we were just going to lose. It wasn't going to be some crazy, we had a 99% chance to win the game. But of course, look around the AFC. Baltimore blows a huge lead. The Steelers' offense is anemic, look terrible, lose to the Patriots. The Bengals are currently losing to Dallas. Oh, you have the easiest 2-0 start in the history of the franchise, and you throw it away. Sole possession of first place, going into a short week, playing your rivals on Thursday night at home with the dog pound barking. No, that's not us, though. That's just not us. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I don't know about ever. As far as us being fans, as far as us expect, we know what to expect. I don't know if that'll ever be us. I don't know if we're ever going to take the spotlight, grab it grab it with our hands and just accept it that we deserve to be here. But we don't. We don't for right now. That's fine.
Offense should be getting a no hate right now. I disagree because, again, if I'm game planning for the Browns offense, don't stop the run and bring your coverage guys down low, because Jacoby's not throwing the ball more than 15 yards at most by the seams of it. What do we even do if Joe Woods is fired? That's a great point, because guess what? Kevin Stefanski doesn't know what our defense is doing.
But you know how that goes. When you fire a coach and the team gets inspired. I feel like teams always perform well the week after we fire a coach. You might need to do it, because here's the thing. This is the defining moment of the season. If you're 2-0, it's all hunky dory. Now you got like a 40% chance of the season being a complete waste, especially if you drop a game on primetime to Mike Tomlin and the Steelers on Thursday at home. You've already lost 2 home games. You've already lost 2 games in the AFC. You might as well right at home. You might as well hold up Watson out the whole year. Just hold him out. We'll be fine.
We need to run the ball every play and hold ball as long as we possibly can and keep. Well, here's the thing about that, Turner. They did that in the first quarter, and I was amazed about how much time they ran off. But that was the first 15 plays. That's the scripted first 15 plays.
Stefanski loves that.
Great run pass combination. Yeah, he loves it. And then after that, it's like, well, now we need to start doing the jet. I don't think we saw a single jet sweep in that first 15 plays. And then I watched it happen multiple times and not get us anything.
Correct. This was always going to be the case, because it's like, should you 100% win week 1? No. It was that game was appropriately handicapped by the Sharps in Las Vegas. Pick them at game time. Pick whoever you want to win. That's perfect. This game, I knew this game. This spread was way off from the beginning. 6.5 points. Browns going 2-0 in September. No way. And then we missed the extra point. I'm like, okay, it's 30-17. I don't even think that Vegas knew about this one, but when we missed the extra point, I know that the spread is Browns minus 6.5. So it's 30-17. Then they scored a touchdown and made their extra point. It's 30-24. Oh, that's 6.5 points. Oh, this is unbelievable. No, it's not unbelievable. It's exactly how the game was written up. I didn't expect us to subsequently not be able to cover an onside kick and then not be able to step up and win reps. How many times today are we not winning reps on 2nd and 3rd down and just, we're giving up these little screen plays to Elijah Moore, and then we're just giving up 10 yards out of bounds to Garrett Wilson? Where's the effort and the drive on the final? Can the defense step up and win a game for us, or does it have to be our quarterback and our kicker every week?
Yeah. Well, I don't even know that can be true, because it didn't happen this week. Just on Twitter, Browns have given up 55 points in 2 games, and 34 points have been in the fourth quarter, 62%. Yeah, defensively, we make very little changes. Just the truth of the matter. And then offensively, it's like we go into panic mode. The team starts scoring points, and it's like, all right, well, what are we doing? Like, what worked? What didn't work? Oh, we don't know these things. Alex Van Pelt's up in the box, not knowing what to call. He's sitting there. Kevin's probably begging him, "Hey, what worked in the first or second quarter?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I was sleeping. Who knows?" And then Kevin's sitting there all by himself, and he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna try to run back whatever I did in the first 15 plays, and it doesn't work."
I'm telling you, I just don't think I don't even know who it is, chain of command, if it's Green Dot, if it's Joe Woods, but it's like I feel like we're switching from this man to zone all game in my mind, and then we get burned. We get busted on why are we just pick something and stick with it? And I get it. We're not going to do anything aggressive. Clowney's out. I mean, Flacco has all day, but it's like we get burned on the zone every week.
There was aggression last week, and there was no aggression this week. It's like it's incredible the back and forth of going from looking great and players playing great. Miles played great last week. He absolutely wreaked havoc against a rookie. And then who are the tackles for the Jets? No one. Their rookie left tackle or their second-year right tackle that they drafted in the top 10 or whatever, not there. Why isn't Miles taking advantage? It's just ridiculous to me. Like Denzel obviously playing the zone coverage, probably not being utilized the right way. No. Greg Newsome being played in zone coverage, not being used the right way.
And it's like, what is that? Like, okay, so now as far as I'm concerned, Martin Emerson on the goal line, that's an L. That's a mistake. But him out in the open field is weirdly serviceable. He's actually decent when
he's a tackler.
Yeah, he's a tackler. But it's like, oh God, if he's on freaking
it's like Grant Delpit.
If he's on
tacklers,
I don't even know. If he's on Pickens, if he's on a good route runner, Higgins, Pickens, Bateman, if he's on a good route runner in the red zone, that's an L. I've officially found that out today. Maybe he'll improve, but I mean that move, I didn't even think that move was anything special for that touchdown, and he was lost.
Oh yeah. I know which one you're talking about. The first one. Did
Ronnie Harrison play today?
Yeah, he did. He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. So, who do we have at safety? You got all this cap space, Ashton. 100% concur. We're sitting on all this cap space. I think Barry has these weird, beautiful dreams about how much cap space he saves, and then our secondary's trash.
But I don't think it's just. I don't think it's the. Like I said, it's the talent. The talent is there. The utilization is just not, and it's that's a coaching thing, top to bottom. It's a coaching thing.
I mean,
how many times are we going to see Amari Cooper go for 100 yards again this season? If we had to bet, he literally was wide open every play. Granted, it's the New York Jets, and Sauce Gardner, whatever he's doing, I don't know if he's tracking the number one, but again, I saw a 100-yard wide receiver this week, and last week he was just non-existent. Donovan Peoples-Jones was 80-plus yards last week?
No catches this week. 0.
No catches this week. It's incredible how the offense, when it comes to the pass game, has never been overly consistent. It's just no one is ever the number one guy, and I don't know if that's a bad thing. In my mind, it's a bad thing. Every team that has had very good success in the pass game has one dude who just lights it up every week. And when he has a bad week, he's probably at least putting up 50 yards.
Decent. Keeping the defense honest. We play this is what we expected though. So it's I understand as far as the quarterback talent, but for the last 2 years, and even the year we went to the playoffs, you could argue Jarvis Landry was our go-to guy the year we went to the playoffs. But we play 1920s style football. Our go-to guy is pull a guard. It is our go-to guy is pull a guard and run Chubb, our go-to running back, or Hunt, our other go-to running back, around the outside. We don't have any go-to wide receivers. We don't have any go-to tight ends. We don't have this elite superstar offensive piece on the offensive side who isn't a running back. We don't have that on the defensive end half the games either. We don't have a TJ Watt finishing the game out. We have Myles Garrett once in a while, He'll give us the reps that are needed. Like I said, he won a whole drive last week against Carolina. Beautiful. He's getting back there, but it's like Clowney was your go-to guy for one play today. One play. Cool, I guess. You get a turnover, you get the fumble. I'm glad that ball bounced our way. Then he gets hurt. He gets hurt on air. It's the complete I just need somebody to step up on the defensive side of the football, win your rep, and make sure that we could win the game. Denzel, Greg, any of the safeties, JOK, do you exist? Miles, I get our D tackles are worthless. I get that. I knew that last week. I saw it today. I was thrilled by how they played last week, believe it or not. And then I don't even know who else was playing the other DN position. Alex Wright, like he's a rookie.
Yeah. Mike, it's a good question down there. Does Jack Conklin have a pulse, by the way? I don't even know if he needs to have a pulse, though. I'm not the two aspects of the game that I'm just never going to probably bitch about is the offensive line and the running backs. Correct. It's just going to be the one thing consistently every week where it's like those guys probably go home and they're unlike Jeff. Here's one thing that I can tell you from being at the game. They did inductions for two players. The first guy never heard of, was old. Sorry, don't remember. Joe Thomas.
Joe Thomas
gets inducted. I'll tell you one thing that Joe Thomas did. He said something really funny. It wasn't funny because he was being really sincere, but everyone around me made it really funny because he's talking about his family. He's like, my kids, my wife, they were my shoulder to cry on after hard days, hard weeks. I was like, man, he probably had a lot of those. It was more like hard years. But guess what? This offensive line that we have now, they go home and they're like, man, we did everything we could.
Literally.
And it's like Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, man, we did everything we could. Like, what else are we going to ask for those guys to do?
I mean, here's the thing.
Kareem Hunt throw the ball?
Like, I just want to know team stats here. Like, okay, we win time of possession by
barely.
Pushing 6 minutes. It's not bad. We win penalties. They have more penalties than us. We win red zone attempts. It's one turnover each. We win the rushing game, clearly. They have more passing yards than us. We have more total yards, and we lose the game. Yep. We have one sack. They have more sacks than us. How do they have more sacks than us? How is this a thing?
It's incredibly tough to even digest reading half of this stuff.
You just should be 2-0. Like, I don't understand. That's the most annoying part.
Everyone walked out with 2 minutes and 17 seconds when Kareem Hunt picks up a first down off of a screen is thinking, hey, 2-0 for the first time since a lot of us were born.
Yep, I jinxed it myself personally, but
I don't know, Jeff. How did Jedrick play?
Fine, I guess. No penalties. I mean, I'm sure I'll see on Twitter. I'm sure I'll see from the Twitter brain trust here in about 12 to 18 hours all the plays where he didn't give maximum effort. The guy sitting at home eating his Lay's potato chips, can't even walk right, but Jedrick Wills didn't give a maximum effort. But if you're going to point it out, that's the case. I think we have better film gurus on Twitter than we do than Joe Woods.
Actual coaching offices.
I think everybody did. I'm making the thumbnail. I'm sitting down making the thumbnail. We're up whatever was 30 to whatever it was 17. I'm sitting down making the thumbnail. I'm like, yes, let's go. And then 68-yard play, and I almost threw up.
Garrett Wilson just destroyed us. Like, how? Well, to be fair, he probably should have had 3 touchdowns because there were a couple of times Flacco underthrew him, overthrew him.
Flacco owned us.
Wilson looked good as an Ohio State fan. That's
and then the biggest play of the game for him was that drop where they had to punt. I'm like, oh, that's the game.
Right.
I'm like, this is the break that we somehow need.
The one time we got a 3-and-out.
Correct. I'm like, okay, we got off the field on 3rd down because he dropped the pass. Like, this is the break that's going to essentially win us the game. No.
I'm trying to see if there's anything on Twitter that I should be bitching about along with everything else.
I mean, I could try to find this play with our busted coverage, but you know who's tweeting it out? Jake Trotter. Jake Trotter needs to transfer to ESPN North Carolina because he's annoying.
Nick Chubb should have been covering Corey Davis with a selfish play.
Here we go. Let's check this out. Let's check out. See, this is what I want to hear from your. I want to hear this from your perspective. Whose fault is this? Is it Denzel or is it Grant?
Considering that he's not pressed up on him, I'm saying Delpit because if Johnson, so I'm my cursor, if Johnson's swinging to the middle of the field, he's got 17 and Delpit's got to have 84. 38.
That's what I'm saying, but like, who is Denzel covering here?
It's not even because it's zone. But go back for a second and start that play. Where does 38 start out?
38.
He moves here. Right. We're in a zone.
Yeah,
it's not man coverage.
This is Emerson, right?
Yes, 23.
Because I'm assuming Emerson, but like Emerson is way more upfield already than Denzel. That's why I'm confused.
So,
like, look how far Emerson is here. He's like 6-7 yards ahead of Denzel, but I don't know. And here comes the ball, and then there's nobody there. But it's like if Johnson's here picking up 17, you got to think that the safety is your last.
In cover 2, and I could be wrong here. So no one is covering the middle of the field. Both Delpit and Johnson should be far enough back that they can play middle and their side of the field, middle and their side of the field. So go through it. Because he swings left. He swings left first. He's covering middle, and then he sees the ball move, and he's just tracking it. And Delpit's in no man's land.
Correct.
Emerson and Ward are playing mid-high, and then the linebackers are playing low. That's why you see JOK go down to cover Breece Hall or whoever it was. It's just awful. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Grant Delpit make a play downfield in coverage.
Like this, like what is going on here? Like you cover sports for ESPN Cleveland. He's retweeting the New York Jets victory post of an L. Like I get it. You've been a Baker bro your whole life, but like this is the most criminal thing. That's why I said, this is what I always say. And people can call me out for, we'll never go corporate. I will never go, oh, ESPN Cleveland. Let's just say some pipe dream. Oh, ESPN Cleveland wants Jeffrey and Justin from the Cleveland. No, because they're all a bunch of hacks. That guy is a hack retweeting the Jets tweet. That's a hack move.
Sendejo 2.0, yeah, comes up for big hits and almost nothing else. Oh, boy. Jeff, where do we go from here? Thursday, we're on a short week against a team that is way better coached than us. I mean, hey, this could be a scouting game for Andrew Berry for new head coach.
Oh God! I'm telling you, Stefanski's the coach for the 2023-2024 season. I would have put my hand out there, even if we were 0-17 this year, he would have been the coach. That would have been a stretch, of course. That would have been hyperbole, but it's going to be like, 11 games without Watson. They're going to give Mans a year without Watson, unless a more established offensive mind becomes available.
If Bieniemy was available again, it would be interesting for them not to take, because you look at Kansas City's offense and how it's built.
Correct.
And you look with our offense and how it's built with Watson at quarterback. There's a good argument there, but I agree with you. I obviously I said it at the beginning, it's an overreaction, but when you lose in that fashion, I'm going to overreact a little bit.
See, Ashton, this is where I actually completely disagree, because I don't think they're going to practice that much this week anyway. So it's like, we need motivation for this game. I'll just can his ass tomorrow and be like, oh, we're going into a Thursday night game with basically no defensive coordinator, but let's motivate the roster. They're not going to practice this week. They're not practicing tomorrow. Half the team ain't going to practice on Tuesday. You're going to get a walkthrough on Wednesday. The game's going to be on Thursday. So it's like, we don't even have time to correct these issues. Like, I don't have time, if I'm Joe Woods or if I'm Kevin Stefanski, to sit down in the film room with Grant Delpit and be like, this is how you play football defense. Like, we should know these things by now.
ESPN tweeting out Chubb deciding to go.
Yeah, ESPN's main account is like, Nick Chubb decided to run this in for a touchdown when he could have slid and the Browns would have kneeled it out. What? What intern tweeted that?
It's rough. I'm baked from the sun, man. I completely forgot that the first game of the season's always a heater in our seats.
I hate it.
This. I was like, dude, I had such a headache, and when Kareem caught that first down, and I was like, man, we're good. And I dipped out of there. I was so happy in that moment because people were still staying, and we're all the way in the nosebleeds, and it's like it's hell if you stay past the 2 minute
out of that place.
You can't get out of the place. You don't get home if I didn't leave before that game actually ended, we're not doing this until like 8:00 tonight.
Correct.
And it's just disgusting.
And then after that, like I don't even want to think about all of your bad luck or missed coaching or whatever you want to describe it up as, but it's all back to the big play. You can't let people score 68-yard passing plays on one play in the fourth quarter in any game. I don't care if it's 55-12. I don't care what the score is. You just can't. These things can't happen. It's like after that, all the stuff that ensued after that, I don't even care to think about it because at that point, we just should have never given up that. To get them to 24, however many seconds was on the clock, less than 2 minutes. Like, okay, it took you 2 seconds to get from down 13 to down 6. And now you have to recover an onside kick. Oh, that shouldn't be too hard. Okay, of course, we make it difficult. And then you even have a chance to stop them again. I don't even care at that point. Not that I'm checked out, but it's like everything that happened from this point on was all complete nonsense anyway.
Yeah. Here, so I want to go over and let's thank the Jets fan for coming in and actually
Duncan, appreciate you.
We do appreciate that. He makes a good point. I thought, we were running the ball well. I just felt like we started to do typical like Stefanski things where we give jet sweeps to Demetric Felton and Anthony Schwartz, and these plays go backwards, and we're literally just like we were in field goal position on that drive where it's what was it? It was a sweep, lose 2 to 3 yards. Then you Kareem Hunt run, the line gets blown up, lose another 2 yards, and you're still in field goal position, and then Jacoby takes a sack. That's a point of the game too where it's like know your field, like know where you're Correct. At. Your kicker, to that point had been perfect. You give him a chance to kick one of those big ones at home where they announced his name last or towards the beginning of the game for being AFC Specialist of the Week. Huge roar for him.
But I wasn't even. Here's the thing: if you have a stout, knockdown defense, I don't care about giving up this field position where if you miss whatever a 55-yarder, they get the ball on close to midfield ish. We didn't even have that today though, so it's like. Sure, do you want to trust in your kicker, but also do you want to give them a shorter field where it's like 2 plays and one play with our secondary and it's like, oh, touchdown.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I agree. I just want to go back to the one point, and Jeff, we can take it anywhere else after this, but someone said, how much better does Jacoby need to play? If you want to win the games that we should win, he doesn't need to play any better than he did. But guess what? Now we're at the point where we're 1-1. Next week, Thursday, you need him to play better.
Yeah, you can't have a clunker now. Now it's like, oh, is he going to have a clunker?
Yeah, you need him to play. You need him to be able to throw the ball more than 15 yards in the air. And it's just against a team with Mike Tomlin, who has, no matter how or who he's had at quarterback, has always made this team very competitive.
Correct.
Now he's got a stellar defensive coordinator who was a head coach the season before in Brian Flores on a short week against the Browns, who he owns, basically.
I mean, I think this is the best offensive composition on Thursday you're facing so far as well.
Yeah.
Out of everybody. Najee
Johnson,
Najee
killed us last year.
Fryermuth. who cares who their quarterback is? You just lost to Joe Flacco. You just gave up 400 yards to Joe Flacco. I mean, Baker Mayfield was criminally close to beating you week 1. She probably should have got the job done. I mean, his defense kind of threw in the towel for them. It all comes down to the defense at the end of the game. Do you think that we're considerably better than the Pittsburgh Steelers defense in week 3 of the season? Absolutely
no
not.
Minka and no.
Why did Mink get hurt today?
Didn't he have a season-ending injury? No, that was Jamal. I'm sorry, but Minka went out in that first game, right? And did he return?
Najee was hurt in the first game.
Oh, Najee
played this week, but TJ. I mean, we're not playing TJ Watt. That's cool. That's a huge boost, obviously. But I need to see like 3 turnovers, like 2 picks and a fumble. Like get Trubisky on the ground.
Well, the way that it's so funny to watch, like quarterbacks who are notoriously like famous for throwing the ball to other teams, like Jameis Winston and Mitch Trubisky, like they go to different teams and are slightly better coached for a year, and they're better at not doing the things that they were awful at. And
yes,
who knows with the way we play defense? I mean, Mitch Trubisky could look like a starting quarterback, like a legitimate starting quarterback against us again. Joe Flacco did. Teams are going to be lining up to pay him
easily.
40-some years old, probably.
And I mean, if you want a legitimate chance to this game, like here we go. How many weeks into last season where did we start saying it was a must win? Like we're week 3 of this season, it's a must win because you just can't drop games in the AFC if you want any chance of even smelling the wild card. It's AFC record. It's AFC North record. Okay, you lose Thursday, you're 0-2 against the AFC. You still got the Chargers. You still got the Bills. You still got these other teams in the AFC who aren't pushovers. New England. Like, I mean, I don't care about losing NFC games. You'd like to win them, but it's like if Tampa blows us out by 40, it's not the end of the world compared if we lose a week 3 game against Pittsburgh.
Or a week 2 game against the Jets.
Correct.
By 1 point.
We haven't beat the Jets in when? Since when? When did we beat the Jets? We lost to them 2 years ago.
When the helicopter, who was that? Who was our quarterback when that happened? I remember that vividly, but I don't remember the quarterback's name. Don't know. The thing is, we knew the loss was going to happen to one of these teams in the first 4 games. I thought 2-2 is probably realistic, but to lose in this fashion and probably lose to the Steelers, because I have very little faith in us against Mike Tomlin, and I'm not even going to say the Steelers. I'm just going to say Mike Tomlin. If Stefanski is even slightly outcoached, it's game over. Like
game over.
Last week, clear winner as a coach. This week, I think you could very much say Saleh was the better coach towards the end, at least. You know, Stefanski, great 15-play script. After that, gets a little shaky. Next week, you got a dude that's just all-time great, going to be a Hall of Famer.
Correct. And I mean, that's fine. If we have these expectations of teams being good, like I agree, Mike. I think the Broncos have looked terrible through 6 quarters. But I mean, every game I pull up on NFL Ticket, which by the way, DirecTV run me my money back. The whole first half NFL Ticket wasn't working. So by the way, DirecTV could. Oh, I was getting ready to throw stuff, but it's like. Every time I pull up a game, I always look for an AFC team, and I just always hope they lose. I hope that Tennessee lost last week. Perfect. If the Broncos lose this week, 0-2, perfect. It's wide open, but it's like you can't – it's wide open, but you have to execute. Are we going to execute against teams that are good to great? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, boy. 31-30 loss. Browns are 1-1. You know. We'll lose this series this season. I don't know about that. I mean, it's pretty in bad. Reality, right now, I'm sitting right exactly where I thought I'd be sitting at week 2. I'm disappointed at that because at 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter of this game, I was thinking, hey, we could actually come out 4 weeks ahead of this game or 4 weeks ahead and be 3-1. But realistically, I always knew it was going to be 2-2 because you can't predict injuries. Or you might not be able to predict injuries, but you can anticipate them. You lose Clowney. Your defensive line is now gone from a B to a D. very quickly.
Very fast.
And you drop a game that you shouldn't have dropped. Realistically, you shouldn't have dropped.
Typical. But it's one of these things where I can't stand this sport because every game makes so much, just is so massive, and that's what makes it fun and entertaining week by week, and just scoreboard watching and everything. And they got to hold on so everybody's wallet. Yeah, I'm literally. It's like I'm gonna be violently ill, but I already know, and you already know, if we beat the Steelers on primetime on Thursday, we're thrilled. We're like, oh yes, we're 2-1. Like this, a win on Thursday would just erase all this nonsense. But it's it's all hindsight as far as let's just take it the full season. Because if we're playing the Texans, Deshaun's first week back, and we're like 4-7. We're like, oh, we should have been 5-6. We should have been 5-6. And let's just say on the bright side, we're like, oh, we're 6-5. Oh, we should have been 7-4. We should have been 7-4. We should have been in the front of the AFC North, not in the middle. But no, that week 2 loss against the Jets, where we gave up the fake punt, where we gave up the onside kick, where we gave up a broken 68-yard coverage, where we miss an extra point. It's like, I can't do it, man. I don't know if I could do it. It's difficult.
No, I hear you. It's the reason why this game, like, it hurts so much is because you can't. It's a game you needed to pick up because now and later down in the season when you need to win against the Buccaneers, the Bills, the Saints, the Ravens,
I just don't know what is up with I felt like this was the issue last year. We can't win at home. And it's like on paper, like this is where I agree. Pee Wee Brownie Elf. I truly believe we beat the Steelers. If we beat them going 2-1, but you said it. You said the quiet part out loud, heading to Atlanta. It's not easy to win road games in the National Football League. It's actually very, very difficult, as you saw in week 1, as you saw in today with the Jets. That was basically as difficult as it gets, and they still pulled the rabbit out of their hat. I would just like to win home games. And if you lose on Thursday, you're 0-2 at home. You've already lost 2 out of your 8 home games.
Yeah. And you've lost some of the easiest, not the easiest, but the games you should have won.
Correct.
Regardless of whatever factor. So, all right, Jeff, I'm done lamenting about this.
I need to go to bed. It's 7 o'clock. I'm ready to go to bed.
I'm right there with you. Thank you all for hanging in there with us, for dealing with our, quote unquote negativity or whatnot, but
reality.
But if you made it this far and you guys haven't already, please make sure you are subscribing, liking, commenting. We do appreciate all the comments throughout the live. And if you're watching this the day after, a little after we've gone and ended it, make sure you're leaving comments about what you thought about this game and how the Browns stand as of right now. But with that all being said, we'll catch you guys in the next one.